Okay, welcome very, very much to Conversations. The Harold Channer here in New York City. We're talking with our friend Steve Neskis down in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach.
And it's so good to welcome you via Skype. We got a beautiful landscape, cityscape behind me, and then a nice picture of you. And welcome, Steve. It's so good to see you looking well.
Thank you, Harold. It's good to be seen, as they say.
I'm looking forward to this because you say you've got a thing that's really interesting, understanding the internet and some of the media up-to-date implications of that. And I'm anxious to hear from that. So I think that's something we want to talk about, right?
Absolutely, Harold.
Okay,
Absolutely.
well, tell me. Inform me, Stephen. Inform the
All
audience.
right. Well, in the last conversation, we were talking about how artificial intelligence was gaining grounds.
Yes.
And that game called Go
Yeah.
was actually one of the first areas where artificial intelligence, and it's called deep learning, okay? And it mimics the the neural networks of the brain, just like we think it can do that now. We have gotten to the point where artificial intelligence can do more than normal computers. So normal computers, you just fed instructions to it, and basically what you put in, you got out, okay? So basically, if you said, when somebody said hello, it would say, kind of like what Siri does now. It has certain instructions.
What is Siri?
Siri is on the Apple device, okay?
Oh.
It's just like Amazon has theirs. Siri was the first one.
Yeah, try not to get too far into the aspects of the thing, if you can, and keep it sort of to where the general public can understand.
The basics, you won't be able to understand any of it. So.
Well, okay.
Siri has a regular computer.
What does Siri mean?
Siri is the voice that when I say, "Hey Siri,"
yeah,
you see, it says, "Hi Siri. What time is it, Siri?"
I'm well, thanks.
Siri's like a name, like Joe.
Right, and you can set it up to be a female or a male.
Right.
Watch this. Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 4:52 p.m.
Okay, it can tell you instructions. It doesn't have artificial intelligence.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Now, when I ask it a question, it's already set up to give an answer. Okay, like, "Hey Siri, I love you."
I think you're pretty great too.
Okay, so that's a standard question, and if you kept on asking it, it would revolve, and you would hear same answers. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have any capability to think like we do. So the next level of that is what we call artificial intelligence or deep learning.
Mm-hmm.
And this now mimics the actual neural networks like we have in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
It can think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when Go came out, Go has more moves than the combined atoms in the universe, in the known universe.
That's the Chinese game, right? Go.
Right.
It's
Right.
ancient game, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ancient game. And computers could beat people at chess because it has a finite amount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But in our last conversation, I said that Google Deep Learning came out with this new algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it actually was able to learn all the games that had been played up to this date. And then it started playing its own games and learning. So the way that artificial intelligence is just like a child. It has to not go to a school and just learn information. It has to go out like we do in the real world and learn through experience. Okay?
Okay.
So So these algorithms will keep on playing, and he'll keep on learning, or it will keep on learning, because it's not a human being. I can't call it he or she. But the computer will keep on learning until it's learned more than what we know. So all of a sudden, Go is being played with deep learning, and on move 37, it did a move that nobody has come up with yet.
That's left me in the dark a little bit. I don't quite understand move 37 and so forth.
Okay, well, I'm saying the numbers in the number of 30, they were playing moves like from 1 to the second move, the third move.
Yeah.
So on the 37th move, you got to understand that the people were watching like it's soccer or football where we are concerned, okay? These people are like really into it, okay? And on move 37, it makes a move that nobody in the known universe, including the master Go player from, I believe, Korea or Taiwan, one of those countries, actually, believe it or not, never made this move. Nobody on the human race has ever made this move, at least that we know of. Maybe back in the ancient world when people weren't recording, they might have, but nobody in the modern society has ever made this move, and they were astounded. And Go beat, out of 5 games, 4 out of the 5 games. And his head was hanging down because no longer was a human being as smart as a computer. That was the first shot over the bow that computers can do a better job in thinking than we can.
When was that revealed?
That happened, I had the year on my last show.
Well, roughly. 5 years, 10, 20?
No. This was like, God.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It might have been 4 or 5. I don't want to be...
Okay, 4 or 5.
But it's been, it hasn't been, I don't have that handy. I wish I did, because that would have been, something important. But, it's been recent, like in the last few years, 2007 or 10 or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have to do the research and put it up on our website for those people underneath the show for that question. But we will answer that question. So now we have a new situation. We have computers, okay, that actually can do better than we can at face recognition, at computing, at so many different ways. And now, because of artificial intelligence, before, regular computers didn't do one thing at all well, and that's face recognition. They never could see well until artificial intelligence came in. And now, with that, they are able to have sensors in cars to see ahead at a time and compute these movements. And now we can have driverless cars because of it. Before that, it was only a dream that we could have a driverless car.
But that's actually in the works now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And only because of that.
Amazing.
So what I like to do, if it works, because we're still in the dark ages of the modern era, I like to call it.
Yeah.
Let's go to the video of Frontline in artificial intelligence to get a little understanding. And I do recommend anybody that is of any age to have any kind of comprehension to go to Frontline and watch the AI video in its full form, because it's amazing. Okay?
How would they do that? What would they punch in order to go do that?
They would go to this website right here,
and
it says pbs.org, and you would type in Frontline, and then in the age of AI.
Okay.
And here we go. We're gonna
You're going to do
play
that.
it and see if you guys can hear it. If not, we'll come back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if you can't hear it, you just say something, and I'll stop, and we'll go back to me.
Okay. Go,
Okay?
man. Go. Go. Yes, we hear.
Great.
Tonight,
The race to become an AI superpower is on.
the politics of artificial intelligence,
There will be a Chinese tech sector, and there will be an American tech sector.
the new tech war,
The more data, the better the AI works. So in the age of AI, where data is the new oil, China is the new Saudi Arabia.
the future of work,
When I increase productivity through automation, jobs go away.
I believe about 50% of jobs will be somewhat or extremely threatened by AI in the next 15 years or so.
AI and corporate surveillance,
We thought that we were searching Google. We had no idea that Google was searching us.
and the threat to democracy.
China is on its way to building a total surveillance state.
Tonight on Frontline,
It has pervaded so many elements of everyday life. How do we make it transparent and accountable?
in the age of AI.
Go.
This is the world's most complex board game.
Go.
There are more possible moves in the game of Go than there are atoms in the universe. Legend has it that in 2300 BCE, Emperor Yao devised it to teach his son discipline, concentration, and balance. And over 4,000 years later, this ancient Chinese game would signal the start of a new industrial age. It was 2016, Seoul, South Korea.
Had machines overtake human intelligence. A breakthrough moment when the world champion of the ancient board game Go takes on an AI program developed by Google.
여전히 자신감은 있는 상태구나. 아무래도 역시 아직은 인간의 직관력이나 이런 감각들을 컴퓨터인 인공지능이 따라오기에는 약간 무리가 있지 않나 이렇게 생각을 해서
in countries where it's very popular, like China and Japan and South Korea. To them, Go is not just a game, right? It's like how you learn strategy. It has an almost spiritual component. You know, if you talk to South Koreans, right, and Lee Sedol is the world's greatest Go player, is a national hero in South Korea. They were sure that Lee Sedol would beat AlphaGo hands down.
Google's AlphaGo was a computer program that, starting with the rules of Go and a database of historical games, had been designed to teach itself.
I was one of the commentators at the Lycée d'Ol games, and yes, it was watched by tens of millions of people.
Throughout Southeast Asia, this was seen as a sports spectacle with national pride at stake. But much more was in play. This was the public unveiling of a form of artificial intelligence called deep learning that mimics the neural networks of the human brain.
So with machine learning and artificial intelligence, initially with AlphaGo, so the machine is fed all kinds of Go games, and then it studies them, learns from them, and it figures out its own moves. And because it's an AI system, it's not just following instructions, it's figuring out its own instructions. It comes up with moves that humans hadn't thought of before. So it studies games that humans have played, it knows the rules, and then it comes up with creative moves.
와, 정말 생각지도 못한.
That's a very surprising move.
I thought it was a mistake.
Game 2, Move 37.
That move 37 was a move that humans could not fathom, but yet it ended up being brilliant and woke people up to say, wow, after thousands of years of playing, we never thought about making a move like that.
Oh, he resigned.
In the end, the scientists watched their algorithms win 4 of the games. Lee Sedol took 1.
What happened with Go, first and foremost, was a huge victory for DeepMind and for AI, right? It wasn't that the computers beat the humans. It was that, one type of intelligence beat another.
Artificial intelligence had proven it could marshal a vast amount of data, beyond anything any human could handle, and use it to teach itself how to predict an outcome. The commercial implications were enormous.
While AlphaGo is a toy game, but its success and its waking everyone up, I think, is going to be remembered as the pivotal moment where AI became mature and everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
This is about the consequences of that defeat. How the AI algorithms are ushering in a new age of great potential and prosperity. But an age that will also deepen inequality, challenge democracy, and divide the world into 2 AI superpowers. Tonight, 5 stories about how artificial intelligence is changing our world.
All right. Can
Wow,
you hear me?
that's really something. That's really something indeed. Yeah, that's really. How long ago was that aired originally? Hello, Stephen. Are you there?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
No, I was just asking how long ago did that air first originally?
That happened last week, but I think he mentioned that Go was like 2016.
Yeah, right.
So,
Amazing. Yeah.
So that profound movement.
Yeah.
We're living in history, in the just beginning of Star Trek, where no longer will it be a problem we have really truly transcended material scarcity.
Well, is that asserted? Is that asserted in the people who are pursuing this situation you're talking about? That we have transcended scarcity? Is a reality?
The people that are designing it know that for sure. The problem is that most people and most businesses are still linear thinking, Harold.
Yeah.
And they're not up to what this momentum occasion is and the implications that it has for people, for corporations, for cities, for states, for countries, and for this world.
Yeah, well, okay. If they have such a transformative moment, why isn't there more elucidation of the overall situation? That this is something that I haven't seen on television screens or otherwise in my 79 years of living. Why now?
Well,
and what are they claiming
actually,
for?
You're like 85, aren't you, Harold? You're making yourself awfully young.
Oh, am I? Am I doing that? Well, not a bad idea. Can they work that out at Go? Can we do that on a Go game?
I'm only 21 myself. So.
Yeah, I know. No. When they say we're transcending scarcity, it's so monumental thought that the details of that beg to be heard.
Absolutely. Well, it all started with future thinkers like Bucky Fuller, Ray Kurzweil, the beginning of the doubling of memory, Moore's Law, and we're slowly but surely transcending the ability to have surplus. You have kind of put it in the 70s, 50% of the people have more then 50% have less, but we have transcended to that amount, But, since the steam machine was able to create surplus and make, locomotives, and then we got into the industrial age and of course the high rises and electricity, we are now at the point of computing power where we can have computers really do better computations than we can. And I predict that all of us will have our own artificial intelligence person, okay? And 50% of the jobs will be gone, okay? And I'm not talking about manual labor jobs. I'm talking about white collar, lawyers, doctors, So can you imagine somebody that has a steady your hand, has studied every operation in the book, okay, and can actually go in there and do a better job at the operation table consistently for hundreds of hours without tiring.
Yeah.
So what do you do with all these people now that don't have jobs?
Well, that's a big jump there now, But
The real question is, how do we socially engineer the future where Big Brother is not just watching us and becoming this, Orwell 1984 situation, okay? Right now, corporations and governments are slowly taking over and studying all our behaviors, okay? Let me give you for instance here.
Yeah.
China has developed artificial intelligence so well that they're able, with just a cell phone, face recognition, they're able to have algorithms and study people's faces and know who that person is in a hundredth of a millisecond, which is a point of 1 second. Okay?
That's fast. Yes. Yeah.
So they will know everything about you. In fact, this one company has made an application to banking to get a loan. So they developed this borrowing algorithm that has, in 8 seconds after you put it in, will assess 5,000 personal features from all your data that they have compulated throughout their surveillance, where traditional banks only use about 10 features, they use 5,000 features. Now let me tell you what some of these features are. Okay, this is how spooky it gets. In order to tell you what your credit score is, most people say, well, the banks use about 10. Did you pay on time? Things of that nature, right? Have you ever declared bankruptcy is one? Those kind of things. Well, some of the new data points are how fast and confidently did you type in your application? We would both fail on that one. How well do you keep your cell phone charged? It will know so many parameters about you that it will be based on all these algorithms and then make a decision. Now,
that's staggering,
It is staggering. I mean, the craziness of all this is, the critics say that the private companies and governments have been building this national database from dozens of experimental social credit programs, and they're just now testing what they can get away with. The situation right now is that China has gone up into their northern part of their country where the Muslims are, and basically they have face recognition on everybody and everywhere already, but they have gotten it to a point where on their doors of their houses, they have put a code bar, and they just highlight that their cell phone, and they say, "Oh, okay, this is who they are. This is how they think everything." And if you're thinking wrong, they will put you into this new encampment called relearning encampment, okay, which is a concentration camp, basically. So what is happening is that China is controlling everything that everybody is learning.
Everybody in the world you're talking about from China?
No. Whoever influences, whatever China influences, you know.
Okay.
Right now they influence China and a few countries, right? But mostly I'm talking about their own country right now and what the predictions are for the future of the rest of the countries that they influence, okay? Right now, China, and to a lesser extent, a lesser thing is that Russia has some influence, okay? But China is going into the emerging markets, loaning them money, giving them technologies, and they're getting their foot in the door. What they're trying to do is they just now closed down a program called We to the rest of the world, but they listen to every conversation and to everything that you're saying is being recorded, okay, and used against you in ways that are not healthy, okay. Now dictators are starting to take a page of this. You mean we can have cameras and have surveillance on everybody? Well, the problem with that, they want to take all this individual behaviors and incorporate them in records into some kind of matrix that gives people a score, okay, a number to associate to each citizen, and use it to implement incentives or punishments. Think about that.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're not part of the party, well, we can put you into a learning encampment like China is doing now. Or if you are part of the party, we'll give you incentives. The artificial intelligence of face recognition, they're using it and jaywalkers in China to shame the people that are doing it wrong and also fine them. Okay, so every behavior, especially in China, every behavior is being viewed, and in China they really like good behavior. So if you have bad behavior, they want to punish you. So
well, what other countries of the world, the United States, Europe, that kind of thing, are pursuing the similar thing? It's called smart learning or smart this and that, and smart technology.
Deep learning, artificial intelligence. Well, the two big players, Israel is part of it, for sure.
Who? Israel? Well, that's interesting, yeah. Uh-huh.
They're emerging as a minor tech person, but you got to understand that the two big players are going to be the United States of America and China.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that seems to be seen, yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. Now,
at the moment,
artificial intelligence needs data in order to perfect its own self.
Okay.
So data mining is the most important thing. It's because China is so controlled already, it has a leg up on us on understanding what the behaviors are of people.
How controlled is the United States of America or the European nexus in that term?
Well, that's interesting because we don't really know, do we?
Well, that's what I'm asking you, one who's been giving some thought to this, yeah.
I did talk to a guy that is he buys and sells weapons. He's a
big market.
Yeah. He makes them for the military. He's a military contractor. Okay, and he says, Steve, the biggest thing you got to fear in this country is not your government, is your corporation. Okay?
Well, that's a big statement. That really is, and it's very likely to be seen by a lot of people who are knowledgeable as being a statement of reality.
Yeah, it has become a reality in our politics. For instance, K Street is now owned by the corporation. And
well, they've been there a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and they go to K Street and say, put some lipstick on this pig, or this here's $10 million, and they sell it to both corrupt parties.
Well, I'm sorry, both corrupt parties in the United States or in the world, or what are you talking about? No.
I'm talking about the United States right now.
So by the parties, you mean the political parties, Democrat, or Republican, that sort of thing? Okay, just to get it straight, yeah.
So let's say the lobbyist group goes to the Ways and Means Commission of the Democrats and also the Republicans and say, get this bill done. You know, your wife is really smart. She has a $300,000 a year job with us. And if you ever get voted out, you got a $2 million a year job with us. Now that's legal, okay, in America, okay? You can't really give them money, but you can offer their wife a job, and you can offer them a job after they get kicked out for any reason, and then they put you back in by these big packs of money. That corporations are now people too. Did you notice that? That's a scary part right there. When did a corporation ever become a person? I didn't know a corporation actually bled.
I don't know. I have a little hard time negotiating what you just said. Seems to me, in a certain sense, the corporation and the economic process has been pretty much running things for a very long time in this country as elsewhere.
And not only that, they have stated in law that corporations are now people too.
Yes, yeah, right.
So, you know, what we need to abolish is, you know, all of the lobbying groups have $1 for one vote. Basically, you can put your money where your mouth is, but you shouldn't have a super PAC and go into different elections and try to slander people's names. Facebook has gotten to the point where they said they're not going to regulate anything that's political, right?
Well, that's what they claim, yeah.
So Warren just said that, you know, Trump said this. Of course, it was a hyperbole, but she wanted to make a point that I can get away with saying anything, you know. And so we're going to have to come up with new systems and new mechanisms that allow us to have good social norms in society. And this is,
I think that's true.
I've been working on most of my life is to create those mechanisms in a way that we can trust each other and feel that we're connected. This is
well, it's a biggie, that's for sure. You're talking about transcending scarcity, which has been the operating principle for 15 million years.
Absolutely, and
that may be being transcended by the evolutionary process, including mankind.
Absolutely.
At this very time.
At this very moment.
Is it adequately understood by the political leadership of the United States or the world, or is it still just pie in the sky thinking by the realists who think it's all just like it was with dog eat dog and so forth?
Well, most companies are still linear thinking companies.
Yeah.
They don't understand exponential growth. They certainly don't understand artificial intelligence. I mean, 2016, that's a few years ago.
Only, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking, and I thought it was like 2003 or 10 or whatever, but the point being, 2016.
Yeah. Hello. Yes. Yeah. Wake up.
3 years ago. You know. So this is happening as we speak.
Go ahead.
So people are coming up. What do? We give people just money so they can spend it.
That's one important thing. Yeah.
How do people have self-worth? and all those kind of things? Are they going to identify only by their job? Are they going to identify by connections with people? Are they going to be able to have more leisure time? Are they going to be even allowed to think openly? With artificial intelligence, if I control everything and give your behavior a point grade, and say if you don't believe this way, you get a lower point grade, and if you do it this way, we'll give you a better grade.
Well, that's the way a lot of people see the market and everything, in variation, but that's been there for a while. I mean, the peasants in ancient Europe and so forth, wallowing around in the mud, had the same sort of attitude toward the knights royal and so forth. Those
Absolutely.
that have, the haves and have-nots is a general term that has been useful to an understanding of the human condition.
Yes, yes.
And it continues, I guess. Is it possible, proposing that that it could be a thing where you will transcend, where everybody would become a have in material terms? Or is that outlandish thinking?
No. That's
idealistic
Star Trek
thinking.
is very much a possibility where we will be able to have abundance and transcend material scarcity and have our energy needs met, and money is no longer an issue. We don't use that as
It certainly is an issue now in terms of the world,
of course it
right?
is, yeah.
And just about the only issue that has really got credence among the political leadership. It seems.
Well, that's true. So in my designs, I've dissolved money. Okay, one of the things I do is dissolve
with a flourish, huh?
with just a wave
Yeah,
of the
right.
wand.
That's a biggie for you to take away from people, because Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah. So the way to really do that is to allow people to have ownership of the capital production.
Well, sounds like Mr. Kelso in a certain sense to some minds. Yeah,
It is. It is, and Kelso had a really good approach to it, where he just gave people the opportunity to have investments from forward earnings of money to pay it back, because most people don't have past savings.
That's right.
And CESJ, Center for Economic and Social Justice.
That's Norman Curley. That's Norman Curley. I talked to him only a couple of nights ago. I'll pass on the best to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
To Norman and his wife. Yeah. Go ahead.
And they have a wonderful program to transcend material scarcity by loaning people, I should say, not giving people, what the equivalent of the economy is, and let them pay it back in forward earnings. A child being born today supposedly would make, by their figures, $1.6 million in dividends over their lifetime. $465,000 in savings would occur over that period of time, and the interest on that would be about $46,000 a year. That would probably be better than any Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, and take the pressure off governments.
Yeah, say that to transcend scarcity is something that's almost laughably unable to be understood by people who have lived, again, for about 15 million years within the reaches of reality that included absolute bone-chilling scarcity of all the things needed to have a viable lifestyle, a life presence.
Yeah.
So it's a rather big thing they're proposing, that they're going to be able to transcend the ironclad laws of scarcity that have applied for 15 million years by, let's say, next week or something, the way it seems to be.
We're not going to have it by next week.
Well, no, you don't understand what I'm saying, or what's being proposed.
It is moving very fast, and people can't wrap their heads around it.
Yeah,
and
right, absolutely.
I mean, because look, most people say, look, I struggled to get my money.
Yeah,
Why
right.
should you
Sure.
get your
Yeah.
money?
Right, all that, yeah.
You mean you're just going to have money? Well, what are we going to do then? You know?
All those kiddies, they're not going to learn the lessons of hard piggy bank thinking.
Enough.
Yeah, right. You have to suffer. Right, right.
Well, one of those benefits would be we would be able to spend more time on body, mind, and spirit, to use our imagination, to be able to ponder things, because our imagination is still quite unique.
I think so, but I think you're still flirting with that idea of success for the human adventure.
I'm pointing a new word that will just fly in the face of these people.
Yeah.
It's CC, collective capitalism.
Collective, that's something I've not heard. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
And I've coined the word.
Congratulations on word coiner. Yes, collective. What is it again?
Collective capitalism.
Collective capitalism. I think maybe that's a new one, but let's spell it out a little.
I will. Right now, there is a movement of a lot of collectives. That's like people like you and I say, hey, let's start a business. The Mardigan Group is a great example of that. They have like 600 businesses plus,
That's in Spain. That's in Spain, right?
Well, they're also around different parts of the country. They're expanding it. They're trying to keep it going.
Yeah. It originated in Barcelona, I think.
Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, it was the Basque. What was it? The Basque region.
Well, it's just north of Barcelona. Yeah.
Yeah, north of Barcelona.
Beautiful country. Have you ever been there? It's as country as good as Cyprus.
Oh, good.
No,
because
you wouldn't know anything about Cyprus, though. Yeah, I'm making a joke, son. You're a Cypriot to the core. Yeah. Go ahead.
So there's one opportunity, and we have smaller collectives now here in the United States.
Yeah.
Farms and actually starting businesses. There's several books about collectives.
Yeah.
That are being written. And I encourage everybody to maybe later on in the next show we could bring some of those collective books out. But I predict, the system that I'm putting together is that everybody will be owners of the capital production, and will probably be the owners of the corporations. If you can think
within what time frame are you thinking of this, and and the people you relate to? Yeah,
I'm looking at 10 years, 1 billion people worldwide. But I'm thinking more, in the United States in 3 to 5 years, having 10,000 locations that we can communicate like this, developing our businesses. I'm meeting with computer science people now to create the systems and mechanisms that will bring that to fruition. And I think there's where we can identify a problem, or we can identify, hey, it would be nice for everybody just to have abundance, okay?
Well, that's that's kind of a biggie. Yeah, that's kind of a biggie. Yeah.
Nobody's really taken the time to build mechanisms and systems that would be fair for
everybody. And the creatures, don't forget, and the ecology.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So it's a major 15 million year proposition. We've been around, and we're coming to a new way of being in the universe. It really takes some time to get your mind around the magnitude of what we're actually going through now.
Yes.
It is.
We definitely have to think about the species other than the human species, because without them, we do not survive. Okay.
That's the way it's been. Sure. Yeah.
There is a group of people in the Venus Project that have taken some of our futuristic speak and now come together. The Zeitgeist, John from the Zeitgeist, remember him?
Yeah. Is that still in Florida?
Actually helped Venus Project out because they were ready to go to South America and just call it quits.
But they're still in Florida?
They're still in Florida.
Wish them well.
In the thought pattern of how do we develop cities that actually are not destroying terra firma. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, eventually, what I predict is that we'll be tearing up a lot of these concrete mansions and stuff like this, and actually allowing the forest to be from east to west to north to south, and having all the creatures and the plants that will feed us and take care of the medicines that are there to us. You know,
you think it can be done now after all these millennia?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit
I think
difficult.
It can be done. The short answer is yes.
Well, let's hope so, because the alternative is really not worth considering in a certain sense. It would be an absolute total disaster.
It would. To put it bluntly, you know, Michio Kaku said that most intelligent civilizations never make it to man one.
Yeah. Right.
One being that, you know, our energy needs are met, kind of like the year of enlightenment, when we're one world and we're singing kumbaya.
Yeah.
Basically. Maybe not kumbaya, but we would at least tolerate each other and respect each other.
Yeah.
And allow all of our dreams and aspirations to kind of come out.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thought. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So let's go out of that premise and say, how do you build a world that can transcend material scarcity that we have the capabilities of?
Yeah.
How do you go about doing it? Well, first of all, you have to have a system that brings like minds to like projects, which I'm designing right now. You have to be able to allow all thoughts, as long as it doesn't hurt another human being, to have a chance to flourish. Okay.
Well, that's a premise that's worth considering. Yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, some people, you know, want to have one relationship. Other people may want to be single and have multiple. But the point is that we don't have a right to judge, you know, if you want to be gay or any of those kind of things. I mean, the point is you are who you are. As long as you don't hurt me, what right do I have to judge you? You know, in that whole respect, you know,
So what are the major drawbacks to this This is an idealistic way of seeing the world, in a sense. Yeah, it's actually the possibility of it becoming real grows with each passing day.
Right.
But the institutions are all mired in a historical context where such thinking is just woolly-headed craziness.
Well, I'll tell you what, the blocks are. There are some blocks to get to that.
Right.
It's not like people don't want it, you know. But what are the blocks? Well, the institutions like higher learning, you know, they're making $80,000 a year or whatever, you know.
Who is it? You mean the professors and stuff?
The professors.
Yeah.
Why would they want artificial intelligence to take their job, you know?
Well, that principle would be operative in a lot of people's mind. Yeah, right.
Right. So why would I want to put a course out that would take my job out? You know.
Yeah.
As one of the professors, as I'm sharing this, she goes, you think that the schools are going to allow this in their system to take their system down?
Well, anybody who's favored within a situation is going to question seriously something that's going to take that favored position that they happen to have won through their own efforts or whatever into account for the situation that they're responsible for.
Right.
And that's been one of the problems.
I have addressed that issue as well.
Oh, well, you seem to have it all covered, Stephen. Listen, can you fill me in on something?
Systems thinker.
Yeah.
I have to think about do no harm. That's my motto.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Allow all people.
First, do no harm.
So how do you allow these people to say shift from gasoline to electric, to be from being in academia with tenure, to not have those positions anymore, you know. Well, what you do is you develop an economic money system, which is, you know, blockchain.
Okay. I don't know a lot about that.
Well, it's like a Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Right?
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, crypto.
That says, okay, whatever you were paid, okay, whatever you were worth, here it is. But after that generation's over, that position is no longer filled. Okay. So in other words, when these systems take over and we become 1 billion people worldwide and we put $1,000 in, that's $1 trillion. Well, that's as big as any insurance company.
It's certainly something, $1 million here and $1 million there. It finally looks like real money, as one of the sages said. Listen, Stephen, can you fill me in on one thing at a personal level? How long do we have to go before the end of the hour? Are you keeping track of the time of this program?
I did not
No,
check
I don't know. How much time do we have
We
left?
have 7 minutes, 38 seconds.
7 minutes and 38 seconds, just to
Wow.
put it in
It's
perspective.
fast. So let's look at that system has to be there to be able to free us from the mundane. So you mean I can have my money, my cake, and eat it too?
That would be
That's
part
the-
of the deal, and
Yeah,
the
you have to make
particularly
that
for the
equal.
grandchildren and things. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you cannot look all these school investment, these teachers that have these great investments in all these businesses, for pensions, all the pension companies.
Yeah.
You have to give them their exact money and worth, because if not, it's going to evaporate, and you can't have a whole society have nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you say, hey, look, within our new system, you have the same of what you got.
Yeah.
The same thing with all these other people. They get to keep what they've already earned.
Right.
There's a new way that is going to be processed from then on, and then there's benefits to that. If you and I can do the same job and we have more people doing the same job, I can have more leisure time.
Yeah.
And as artificial intelligence takes over the mundane, we can do the important things.
Yeah, it is. It's just an incredible time we were born into, isn't it? Though, as a matter
It's
of
amazing.
it is.
It's amazing.
And
I do have talking about politics that we haven't talked about it yet, but real briefly, because we only have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
I have designed a new way that we could elect our officials. Okay.
Really? Well.
Yeah.
They used to have a thing called an election.
To you in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, like a Boy Scout becomes an Eagle Scout through badges.
I never made it. I never made it to Eagle Scout.
Either, but you understand what I'm saying.
I do understand. Yeah.
Okay. So in order to be an elected official, we would develop a system like a seal of approval, like the Good House seal of approval.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, if you only have this, then you get elected, but you can use it as a standard, like the Good House keeping seal.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah.
So basically, hey, I have conflict resolution, I have world history, I have politics,
economic justice.
Economic justice. I've learned to have conflict resolution where I can speak to
Thank
people.
you.
And then you become what they call a national treasure. And just like you go to military for a couple of years and then you move out.
I was a terrible soldier.
Yeah. Well, we would actually
really
allow you not to be in the military, but be in academia or be part of the political process.
Okay.
So you can make a choice whether to be military or part of the elected officials, and you only get 2 to 4 years, and that's it. You serve and you get out. No, other than you get your schooling, or if your job was making $100,000 a year and whatever, then you get that. But can you imagine a whole society owning all the capital production, receiving that money, and then redistributing it out in dividends to all people? In other words, no longer is the corporation owning us, but we own the corporation.
Yes, that's right.
We hold all the patents
in
the trust of the people, not the trust of a corporation where they say, oh, we can raise the price up because it's for our fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders. No longer is that true. We all are the shareholders.
That's an awful big challenge to the system and everything, which is based on a lot of very much smaller vision than we're being proposed by this premise.
Right.
It's
but
going
you
to
know
take
what?
very hard for people to accept the idea that there is enough.
Right.
And that there,
So you have to develop a system, and I'm not going to go into it right now.
Okay.
It's part of one of my little things I got to keep when I launch. Okay.
Are you waiting for that when you're going to really launch your thing? You're going to save that for your own benefit. To
Well,
get
not-
to
not
get
my
the.
benefit,
I'm
for
making a
people's
joke with
benefit.
you. I'm making a joke with you.
But it will exponentially bring this information and allow all people to participate equally.
Well, that statement may be more true than anybody can think has any sense whatsoever in a world that does not have any economic or political sense in any way. So it's a little bit of asking humanity to accept a very comprehensive and staggeringly altered consciousness, and yet it may be the hope of humanity in the future of the certainly of the species and beyond.
Yes, and I think in the United States we have that capability. In China they can't.
Well, they're getting a lot done over there.
They're getting a lot done, but they don't have the capability of making their own decisions. Here, we can make those changes and show it to the world. We are the gift to the world if we decide to be that gift, to bring in abundance to the whole world.
Well, okay.
Only in America can you think this openly about giving people the opportunity to do their passion without having a dictator tell you, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, like has been the course of history. So you're singing the praises of the good old USA, it sounds to me, with reason. There's a lot to believe in this country and it done, and it's a good notion to be privy to and in support of. And I congratulate you on it and hope the heck it can come to be in real terms. It is the major idea confronting mankind at a very unique moment. We're coming to the end of 15 million years of evolutionary process to a new relationship to the universe. And
Absolutely.
that's like leaving the womb and coming into
One
a
day
whole new realm.
hopefully we could shake the hand of consciousness, huh?
Yeah, it might be. It's crazy as it sounds. We may actually get to a world of honest to God, fulfilling justice for the whole process and universe. So thank you for bringing this clip and everything like that. So let's be in touch, okay?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I got a toad in my throat. I've got a big toad,
worries.
and not just a frog. So
You
okay.
have been an institution bringing the leading thought to.
Go on. Go on. You're just buttering up the schmuck. You just stop. All right. Listen.
But this is true.
Listen, we're running out of time, my brother, with the clock running. Okay. So. Good to talk to you and the audience. Thank you for coming back again tomorrow. Okay. Thanks a lot. And to Josie Ann. Okay. Thanks. Hasta luego, mi amigo.
It was
Hasta
very,
luego,
very
brother.
interesting.
Okay. Now we can stop talking.